Dear students, today I am going to start a new lesson, and that is lesson number 5. And the name of our lesson is Memory, Forgetting, Attention and Interest. Okay, what is the name of our new lesson? That is lesson number 5, Memory, Forgetting, Attention and Interest. In this lesson, we will be able to know about 4 aspects of mind. Okay, 4 aspects of mind. That is that 4 aspects are memory. What is memory? Then forgetting, how forgetting is happen. Then attention, how can we put attention, and interest. What is interest? We will be able to know about all these 4 aspects of our mind. So, dear students, here in our book, first of all, it is given about memory. Okay, here it is given about memory. What is memory? And normally we know that memory means remembering of a past experiences. Isn't it? Memory means the remembering, act of remembering of past experiences. Here it is said that the capacity to conserve the past experiences is known as memory. Okay, the capacity to conserve. Okay, the capacity to conserve the past experiences is known as memory, and it is a specific function of mind through which learning can be retained and reproduced if and when required. Here it is also said that memory is a special function of our mind. Okay, special function of our mind through which whatever we learned or whatever we experience that we preserve or that we retain in our mind, and the experiences will be retained in our mind, and if and when necessary we can recall that experiences. The whole process is known as memory. Learning something, then retaining that learned things, and then recall them, recall the learned things if and whenever necessary. Whole this process is known as memory. Then memory is a general word which includes several mental activities. Memory includes several mental activities like retention, recall and recognition. Retention, that means storage capacity, storing capacity of our mind. Then recall, whenever need or whenever necessary we have to recall that past experiences. And recognition means identification. Okay, we have to recognize them, we have to identify them. So these mental activities are related with the memory. So it is the ability of remembering or recalling past retained experiences whenever necessary. So for a good memory or good memory capacity, we have to recall that past experiences whenever necessary. So when needed, if we are not able to remember that thing or that particular experiences, then it is not a good memory. So for a good memory, we have to remember that experiences whenever we need to recall them. Then it is that mental power which helps the individuals in all sorts of learning. Memory always helps in our learning process, and it is the fundamental power of mind, as it is on this power of conservation depends on mental growth and development of an individual. So memories always depend on mental growth and development of an individual. Then a human mind has the power to conserve the past experiences and after effects of experience and reproduce or recall them whenever necessary. It is repeatedly said that for a good memory we have to remember that particular thing whenever necessary. And it underlies all learning the essential nature of which is retention, and thus this is defined as the power of reproduction of past experiences. So now we conclude that memory means the power of reproduction of past experiences. So this is all about memory. So what is memory? Memory is a special function of our mind, or memory is a special function of human mind through which we can experience or we can learn some new things, and we have to retain that new things or new experiences, and whenever necessary we have to recall that particular experiences. So this is memory. Now here is given some definition of memory. We can see the definition of William McDougall. Okay, William McDougall. In his book An Outline of Psychology, he defined memory as, in the strictest and narrowest sense, memory or remembering implies imaging of events as experienced in the past. Okay, in the strictest and narrowest sense, memory or remembering implies imagining of events as experienced in the past. So for memory, we have to experience something. We have the past experience. Without past experience, we have nothing to remember. Okay. So for a good memory or for a memory, McDougall said that memory implies the imagination of events. Okay, imagination of events, whatever we learned previously. Okay, whatever we have learned, whatever we have experienced previously, that that learned things or experienced things are imagination process are known as memory. Then again, Dumble said that it is with the help of memory that some parts of the past experience are screened on the mind in the shape of ideas and images. Okay, so Dumble said that memory means the some parts of the past experience are screened. Okay, some parts of the past experience. So here for memory we must have past experience, and according to Dumble, some parts of the past experience are screened in our mind. Okay, screened in our mind. How this is screened? In the shape of images and ideas. Okay, in the shape of images and ideas. So this is about two definition of memory. These definitions are said by first one is McDougall and next one is Dumble. In your book there is several definition of memory. You have to remember all the definition of memory. Okay. Then next here is given that the characteristics of memory. Okay, see your book in the page number 111. Here is given some characteristics of memory. So in order to give a clear idea about memory, it is necessary to point out the characteristics of memory. So first characteristic is need of sensory experiences. So here it is said that memory needs direct experience of sense. Okay, through sense organ we have to some direct experiences for memory. In order to have memory, acquiring experiences through our five sense organs is very essential, and in absence of sensory experience, memory cannot be possible. So whatever we try to memorize, then we have the sense experiences also. Without the sensory experiences, we never memorize anything. The next is point number 2, power of retaining. Okay, retain means storage capacity. So for memory, power of retaining is necessary, and every individual has retaining power of his mind, which is inherited by birth. So every individual has power of retention, and this is we gain through birth. Then hence this power is limited and unchangeable. For every individual, the retention power is different, and it is inherited and it is unchangeable. And this helps the individual to store learning experience in our mind. So for memory we have the storage capacity or retention capacity. Then point number 3, exact revival or reproduction. Okay, exact revival or reproduction. Memory is an exact revival or reproduction of past retained experience in mind without any distortion. So for a memory, we have to reproduce. We have to reproduce the past experience exactly. Okay, exactly we have to reproduce. It means there should not be any change of retained facts. So there should not be any change of retained facts while making revival or reproduction of past learning and experiences. So this means we have to exactly remember past experiences. Then role of unconscious mind. Unconscious mind plays an important role on memory, and that makes it more complex. So our mind is divided into 3 parts: conscious, subconscious and unconscious, and unconscious part of our mind play a great role in the process of memory. Here unconscious mind helps in retaining pleasant experience and forgetting the unpleasant one. So unconscious mind always helps us to retain our pleasant experiences, that retain our good experiences, and to forget the unpleasant one. So unconscious mind plays a great role in the process of memory. Then next point is repetition. Repetition makes memory image more durable and lasting. So if we repeat again and again, then our experiences is stored in our mind for a long time. And it helps in recalling and stored images correctly and quickly, and lack of repetition the images fades away and induces forgetting. So lack of repetition always induces forgetting, and it never help us in memory process. Then mechanical activity. Memory is a mechanical activity or process that lacks in newness and creative power of mind. So memory is always a mechanical activity, because whatever we have learned in our past, we have to remember that past experience or past learning thing exactly. That means there is no newness in memory process. The next is need of good mental health. Need of good mental health. A good mental health is prerequisite for a good memory, because a disturbed and weak mental condition may make one confused and forgetful. So whenever we try to memorize something, then our mind also should be sound. That means we have the good mental health. Without a good mental health or having a disturbed mental health, then we never memorize anything. Then the last characteristics of memory is mental organization. So memory depends upon healthy mental organization, and memory needs intellectual ability and better power for mental organization of the individual. So memory always needs a healthy mental organization. That means healthy mental condition. So now these are the some characteristics of memory. So we discuss about almost 8 characteristics of memory, and this is an important question for you, that what are the characteristics of memory. And now we can see the stages of memory. Okay, stages of memory, factors of memory, or the process of memory. Whatever we can say that factors of memory, we can also say that stages of memory and the processes of memory. There are 4 stages of memory, okay, or 4 factors of memory. So the first one is learning or acquisition of experience. Learning or acquisition of experience. Then next one is retention or retaining. Then the third one is recall, and then fourth one is recognition. So for a memory, or for the process of memory, we have the 4 factors. Okay, we must have these 4 factors, or we must have these 4 stages. So now we see the first stage or first factor. So the first stage is learning or acquisition of experience. So learning is nothing but the impression of experience, and in order to memorize something, we must have experience or knowledge of the same. So when we try to memorize something, then we have the experience of that particular thing. That without having experience of anything, it is absurd to try to remember it. So it is normal thing that without having any past experience, then what we can recall, whatever we can recall, then it is said that without learning or acquisition of knowledge, memory cannot be occur. So the first and foremost factors of memory is acquiring knowledge. Okay, acquiring knowledge, or the acquisition of knowledge, or the learning. Then when we learn something, then the next factor is arise, that is retention or retaining. So now the second and most essential stage in the process of memory is retention, and it is the resting stage of image or impression, and the effort to retain the image of acquired learning and experience in the mind. So it is means resting stage, that means storage capacity. Okay, and without this retaining function, nobody can have memory. So if we have nothing the retaining capacity, then we never memorize anything. Retention is depend upon 3 conditions. Okay, that is frequency of impression, recency of impression, and interest. Retention is always depends upon 3 conditions. That is frequency of impression. So how long we see that experiences, and that recency of impression, when we have get that experience, or we learn that particular thing, and the last one is interest. our interest. Then if an experience or event is repeated frequently, its impression become deeper in mind, and similarly if the impression or event has occurred recently, its impression remain fresh in mind, and in the like manner we remember the things better in which we have interested. So now this is retaining or retention, and for the retention we have the three conditions: that frequency of impression, then recency of impression, and last one is interest. Then next one is third stage or third factor of memory, that is recall. Okay, recall means the mental revival of the past experience of experiences. So recall means revive or reproduces process. Then it means recall is the reproduction of the events or materials learned and retained in mind purely on the basis of images or mental pictures in the past. So it means we have to revive that particular experiences purely in the pictures of the past. That means nothing changes is here. And in this stage of memory, when images stored in the mind are brought back to the conscious part of mind, and if the power of retain is more, the images may be kept alive and active for a long period of time. And recall is of two types, that is spontaneous recall and deliberate recall. So recall is again divided into two types: spontaneous recall and deliberate recall. Here, for example, recall in the examination hall at the time of exam. So here is given an example of deliberate recall, that is recall in the exam time. Recall in the exam time, that is whatever we try to recall at that time, that is deliberate recall. And spontaneous recall, that means when we try to recall some previous experience, that is some experiences of our childhood time, okay, some activities of our childhood time, that is automatically come to our mind, and that is known as or that is example of spontaneous recall. Spontaneous recall means automatically come to our mind the previous experiences, and deliberate recall means we have to force to recall that particular thing. So this is recall. The next important factors of memory, that is the last one is recognition. Okay, the last factor is recognition. It is the act of mental verifying or identifying of the given experiences on the basis of past images. So recognition means identifying of the past images. It simply means the consciousness that we have experienced at a recalled event before, and whenever an event or experience is recalled, it must be recognized to be our own, that is we have experienced the recalled event before. So this means the particular thing we try to recall, that is we experience ourselves. Okay, and recognition is the awareness of experience that has been retained in the mind, and it consists of knowing that object that has been experienced being acquainted with an object, or now because we previously become acquainted with it. So we can recall this thing, or we can remember this thing because we have previously experienced that thing. So this is our recognition process. Recall and recognitions both are separate. Okay, both are separate. Recall means just reproduce the past thing, and recognition means not only reproduce the past thing, we have to identify that particular past thing or past thing. Then here given an example, that is we meet a person and we recognize to be that same person who met us before. So we met a person or that person we before person who met us before. So that means the recognition. We recognize that particular person that we met him before. So this is what recognition. So recognition means identifying our past experiences, and recall means reproduces our past experiences. In the recall process, the past experiences are not in front of us. Okay, that past experiences are just reproduced through our mind, through images or through ideas. But in the recognition process, the whatever we try to recall, that process, particular aspect or object or to man is in front of us. That means recognition. In the recognition process, the past experiences, the past learning learning material, or the past experience, our whatever this may be, some object, man also, so he is in front of us. So that is recognition, and we have to identify that particular thing that we met that thing before. I hope you get it clearly. So the types of, or not the types of, the factors of memory. So dear students, today we know about what is memory and characteristics of memory and the factors of memory. So if you have any problem, then please give me a voice message, and whatever you have learned, you give me a voice message.